Okay, butterflies, for this frozen springtime sensory activity, you need a bowl or a Tupperware container, some items from nature, water, and a freezer. So let's gather our items before we get started. All right, my butterfly friends, we are going to collect items for a nature sensory activity. So I'm out in front of my house and you can see I've got some beautiful roses. Now, can you see that they're still attached, but down here on the ground, there's some petals that have already fallen off. So I'm gonna collect these petals because I don't wanna take anything off of the plant because it might hurt it, but I do wanna, they smell beautiful. So let's collect some more items for our sensory ice. Can you help me? Okay, let's look. Do you see some pink roses on the ground? So let's gather those. I've got some more down here. And I already got some white, but let's look over here. There's not too many on the ground, and I don't want to pick them. But do you see how many roses I have? Aren't they beautiful? Oh, here's some more pink. Down here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these rose petals and I'm collecting them in a bag. So we're gonna go back into my house in just a few minutes to work on part 2. Okay, butterflies, now that we've collected some rose petals, I also found some other yellow flowers, and I also picked mint leaves out of my garden. So I have a variety of different shapes and sizes of containers. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some rose petals in this big container. And then I'm gonna fill it up with some water. So you can decide how full you want it, how many rose petals you want in it. You can also use grass or leaves. Anything you can find outside that reminds you of spring. I'm gonna add in some more. I think it'll be nice and fun if there's lots of rose petals in this. So I've got rose petals in that one. Then I'm gonna add some water to our little yellow flowers. Can you guys help me count to see how many yellow flowers I was able to find? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flowers. So I'm going to put those in. Now I'm going to move on to my mint leaves. And I have a small container for my mint leaves. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mint leaves. I'm going to again fill it up with some water. So far I've got my rose petals, my yellow flowers, and my mint. But then I also have a pink cup. And I'm going to use some jewels just because jewels make me happy. I'm going to sprinkle some jewels in. And I'm also going to put a couple more rose petals in. And then what do you think I need to add to the cup? You're right, some water. So let's put some water in. All right. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 containers with rose petals and gems, yellow flowers, and mint leaves. So the next step of this project is to put them in the freezer. So I'm very carefully going to take them over one at a time. I'm going to place them in my freezer. Do you think in the freezer they're going to get hot or cold? You're right. They are going to get nice and cold, and it's going to freeze into a big block of ice. I've got 2 in there. Now I'm going to take the yellow flowers. And now my cup. So I'll bring you over so you can see the freezer. Okay, butterflies, you can see our big container with the white and pink and purple rose petals. We have the mint leaf container, and you can see the yellow flowers, and then the cup with the gems and the rose petals. You can see it's still water, that it's still a liquid. So we're gonna leave them in here for a while, and we're gonna see what happens. Okay, my friends, I went ahead and I'm checking the bins of water after about 2 hours. They're almost frozen, but not completely frozen. So we want them to be completely frozen. So the bigger they are, the longer it's gonna take. You can see that one's not quite set yet. So keep them in the freezer for several hours before we can do the next part of the activity. Okay, butterflies, for the next part of our activity, we have all of our frozen bins that we started the other day. So this one has the yellow flowers. I'm going to take that out. This one has the mint leaves in it. I'm going to take that one out. Whoa, this was our big rose petal. So I'm going to take that out. You can see that there's even a crack in this one. So the next part of this activity is to explore the different ices and see what happened to the items inside. We also have this cup that we'll get to in just a few minutes. So first, I want to try to bang it. So I'm using a hammer, so you can use one of your toy hammers. Grown up, you can hammer to see right into it. Okay. Or you can use like a little screwdriver or something that's your toy, so you stay safe, and you can poke at it, play with it, especially since the weather is warming up. It's fun to play with ice sometimes. I want to paint this one, so I'm going to take my paint. And I want to see how it's different from painting on paper. So I've got my blue paint. Oops. And my paintbrush. And I'm just going to paint on it just to see how it melts, the different textures. Since I used my hammer, it's kind of bumpy. See how that all works? Let me paint on this side so you guys can see. Painting all around. You can also take some salt and see what salt does to the ice. So this is kind of an experiment. It's open-ended, so that way you can explore the cold on your hands. You can explore the different flowers. Like this one's stem is hanging out. It's kind of hard to see. But you get to kind of see all the different things, and you can like rub it to see if your hands can melt it. This is definitely an outside activity since it's got a lot of water and we don't want to make a huge mess inside, but it's perfect because the weather's warming up and you can play with this at home. You can also just freeze cups of water or bowls of water and let your butterfly paint them, put them in a sensory bin outside, or if they've got a little pool that they like to go in and explore, put that in there. The cold gives it a different sensation, and it lets them explore different things. Look how cool that is, where you can see the flowers floating in the ice. So have fun exploring with your ice. I'm gonna finish painting mine, and then I'm probably gonna try to break it again. So enjoy. Ooh. Awesome. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Have fun, butterflies.